Admiral Jake Morrison looked at the big screen in the war room. His hands were shaking a little bit. On the screen, he could see thousands of alien ships floating in space near Pluto. The ships were huge and shiny like mirrors. They looked dangerous, Captain. Lisa Harper walked into the room. Her face was pale and tired. She had been trying to talk to the aliens for 3 whole days. The aliens called themselves the Kethver Dominion. They did not seem friendly at all. What did they say? Admiral Morrison asked. Lisa took a deep breath. They gave us 2 days. We have to give up completely, or they will destroy our planet. They said we are like a virus that spreads too fast. The room became very quiet. Everyone was scared. President Karen Williams was sitting at the big table with other important people from around the world. They all looked worried. Why do they want to hurt us? Asked Dr. Amy Rodriguez. She was the smartest person on Earth when it came to making weapons. Lisa opened her tablet and read the alien message. They say we have taken over 12 planets in 50 years. They think we are dangerous because we move and grow too fast. They want to clean us out like we are germs. The alien leader was called War Master Zeftok. He was tall and had gray skin like stone. His eyes were black and cold. When he spoke through the translator, his voice sounded like metal scraping against metal. Admiral Morrison stood up. He was a big man with gray hair and scars on his face from old battles. How many ships do they have? More than 3,000, Lisa answered. Each ship is bigger than our largest battleship. They have weapons we have never seen before. President Williams looked around the table. We need to vote. Do we give up, or do we fight? General Frank Carter hit the table with his fist. We cannot give up. Humans do not bow down to anyone. Dr. Rodriguez nodded. I agree. If we give up now, we will be slaves forever. One by one, every person in the room voted. They all said the same thing. Earth would not surrender. Not now. Not ever. Admiral Morrison pressed a red button on his desk. Alarms started ringing all over the planet. The emergency defense protocol was now active. This meant that every human ship in space had to come back to Earth right away. The message went out to all the human colonies. It reached mining stations near Jupiter. It found research ships studying strange planets far away. It called 2 merchant ships carrying goods between worlds. The message was simple. Come home now. We are at war. Captain Ryan Mitchell was flying his cargo ship near the edge of human space when he got the message. He was carrying rare metals from an asteroid mine. Without thinking twice, he dumped all his cargo into space. His ship would be faster without the weight. He needed to get back to Earth. All across human space, the same thing was happening. People dropped everything they were doing. They left their jobs, their homes, their normal lives. Earth was calling them home. The Kethver aliens watched this happen. They expected humans to be scared. They thought humans would cry and beg for mercy. Instead, they saw something that confused them. War Master Zeftok stood on his command ship. He watched the human ships moving through space like angry bees flying back to their hive. Why are they not afraid? He asked his officers. His second in command, a thin alien with 4 arms, looked at the screens. Perhaps they do not understand how powerful we are. Then we will show them, Zeftok said. His black eyes looked cold and mean. Back on Earth, people were working faster than they ever had before. Factories that made cars started making weapons instead. Scientists who studied flowers began working on bombs. Children helped by carrying messages and bringing food to the workers. Admiral Morrison walked through the spaceport. He saw hundreds of ships landing every hour. Some were big military ships with heavy guns. Others were small family ships that could barely fly. But they all came when Earth called. Captain Ben Harper landed his mining ship and ran to find Admiral Morrison. Sir, my ship is not much to look at, but I want to fight. Good man, Admiral Morrison said. We will need every ship we can get, Doctor. Rodriguez was working in her lab without sleeping. She was taking apart alien technology that humans had found on old crashed ships. If we can understand how their weapons work, maybe we can beat them, she told her team. Lieutenant Commander Pete Davis was flying his scout ship near the alien fleet. He was trying to learn about their ships without getting caught. What he saw worried him. The alien ships were much stronger than human ships. But he also noticed something interesting. All the alien ships moved in perfect lines. They never changed their plans. They were like a computer program that always did the same thing. Back on the alien command ship, War Master Zeftok was getting impatient. 2 days, he said to his officers. In 2 days, we will show these humans what happens when they refuse to obey. But something was happening that the aliens did not expect. The humans were not just running away or hiding. They were getting ready to fight. And humans, when they got ready to fight, could be very dangerous. Sergeant Major Kelly Brooks was organizing the biggest movement of weapons and soldiers that Earth had ever seen. Ships full of guns and bombs were flying between Earth and the moon. People who had never held a weapon before were learning how to shoot. As the 48 hours got closer to ending, something amazing happened. The space around Earth filled up with ships. Thousands and thousands of human ships. Big ones and small ones. Military ships and civilian ships. Ships that were built for fighting and ships that were built for carrying cargo, but now had weapons stuck on them. The Kethra aliens had expected to find a scared planet with a few weak defenses. Instead, they found something that surprised them. They found humans who had just declared war on the entire galaxy. War Master Zeftok looked at his screens. The number of human ships kept growing. This is not possible, he said. Where did they all come from? His officers did not have an answer. They had never seen anything like this before. The countdown was almost over. Soon, the aliens would attack. But now, instead of attacking a helpless planet, they would be attacking a species that refused to give up. A species that had just shown the galaxy what happened when you threatened their home. Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of Earth's biggest space station. Around him, thousands of human ships waited in the darkness of space. They were ready for the fight of their lives. The war was about to begin. Captain Ryan Mitchell looked at his cargo ship. It did not look like much. The paint was old and scratched. The engines made funny noises. But it was his ship, and now it was going to be a warship. He opened the cargo doors and pushed all his valuable metals into space. The shiny rocks floated away like expensive dust. Then he called his friend Tony Martinez, who was really good at fixing things. Tony, I need weapons on my ship. Big ones. Tony laughed, but not because it was funny. Ryan, every person on Earth is asking me the same thing. But do not worry, I have some ideas. All across human space, the same thing was happening. People were changing their ships from peaceful tools into weapons of war. Dr. Amy Rodriguez was working without sleep to help them. She had made something called Thunderbolt systems. These were huge metal rods that could be shot from ships very fast. They were made for breaking up asteroids, but Amy realized they could break up alien ships, too. The beautiful thing about kinetic weapons, she told her tired team, is that they are simple. No fancy energy shields can stop a big piece of metal moving really fast. Captain Lisa Harper was still trying to understand the aliens. She studied every word they said and every move they made. What she learned was important. They think we are animals, she told Admiral Morrison. They have been the strongest species in the galaxy for so long that they forgot what it feels like to be scared. Lieutenant Commander Pete Davis was still flying his small ship near the alien fleet. He was like a mouse watching a group of cats. The aliens were so confident that they did not even try to hide their plans. Pete watched their ships move in perfect formations. Every ship knew exactly where to go. Every captain followed orders exactly. It was very organized, but Pete saw problem with it. Admiral, he said over the radio, these aliens fight like a computer program. They do the same thing every time. If we can figure out their pattern, we might be able to surprise them. General Frank Carter was listening to Pete's report. Frank had fought in many wars, and he understood something important. The aliens expect us to fight like them. Big ships in straight lines, following rules. But that is not how humans fight. Sergeant Major Kelly Brooks was moving weapons and soldiers faster than anyone thought possible. Every transport ship was full of guns, bombs, and people who knew how to use them. But she was also doing something else. We are not just defending Earth, she told her teams. We are preparing to take this war to them. Kelly was stripping the human colonies of everything useful. If the aliens thought humans would hide behind Earth's defenses, they were wrong. Humans were getting ready to attack. Meanwhile, something interesting was happening on the alien ships. War Master Zeftok was talking to his officers, and they were confused. The humans should be afraid, said his second-in-command. Our ships are bigger and stronger. Our weapons are more advanced. Why are they not running away? Zeftok looked at the screens, showing all the human ships. Perhaps they are stupid. Or perhaps they are crazy. Either way, we will crush them easily. But some of the younger alien officers were not so sure. They had been watching the humans prepare for war, and what they saw worried them. The humans did not follow any rules. Their ships moved in strange patterns. Their weapons were different. On every ship, Captain Ben Harper was working with Tony Martinez to put weapons on his mining ship. The ship was not pretty, but it was tough. It had been built to survive in dangerous places, like asteroid fields. We cannot make your ship as strong as theirs, Tony said, but we can make it unpredictable. That might be better. They put different kinds of weapons all over the ship. Some shot metal bullets. Some shot energy beams. Some shot nets that could tangle up enemy ships. The alien computers would not know what to expect. Dr. Rachel Brown was working on something even more interesting. She was a computer expert, and she was studying how the aliens talked to each other. All their ships were connected by radio signals. If I can get into their communication system, she told Admiral Morrison, I might be able to confuse them during the battle. Engineer Tony Martinez was not just helping individuals. He was solving problems for the entire human fleet. When Dr. Rodriguez's team made new weapons, Tony figured out how to put them on ships quickly. The aliens have had hundreds of years to build their fleet, he said. We have had 3 days. But humans are good at making things work fast. Commander Sarah Johnson was training fighter pilots. These were the bravest humans of all. They would fly tiny ships against huge alien battleships. It seemed impossible, but Sarah had a plan. Big ships are powerful, she told her pilots, but they are also slow. We will be like wasps attacking elephants. One wasp cannot hurt an elephant, but 1,000 wasps can drive it crazy. Captain Steve Wilson was in charge of the heavy cruisers. These were the biggest ships humans had. They were still smaller than the alien ships, but Steve had an idea. We will not fight them ship to ship, he said. We will work together like a pack of wolves. Many small attacks are better than one big attack. As the deadline got closer, something amazing was happening. Humans from all over the galaxy were working together like never before. Rich people and poor people, scientists and farmers, soldiers and civilians. They all had the same goal: protect Earth. The Kethver aliens watched this and did not understand it. In their society, everyone had a specific job. Soldiers fought, workers worked, leaders led, but humans were different. A farmer could become a soldier, a scientist could become a warrior, a merchant could become a hero. War Master Zeftok was getting reports from his scouts. The humans have more ships than we expected, one scout said, but they are not organized like a proper fleet. They are all mixed up. Zeftok smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Good, that means they will be easy to defeat. Chaos cannot beat order. But the alien was wrong about something important. What looked like chaos to him was actually human creativity. Every ship was different because every captain had different ideas about how to fight. Captain Derek Martinez was flying a research ship that studied planets. Now it was covered with sensors that could jam alien communications. Dr. Helen Carter had turned her medical ship into a repair station that could fix damaged human ships during battle. Colonel Matt Parker was coordinating all these different ships. It was like conducting an orchestra, where every musician played a different instrument. It should have been impossible, but somehow it was working. The aliens think our chaos is a weakness, he told his staff. They do not understand that chaos can also be a strength. As the 48 hours ended, both fleets were ready. The Kethver had 3,000 identical warships in perfect formation. The humans had thousands of different ships scattered through space like stars. War Master Zeftok gave the order to attack. He expected an easy victory. What he got instead was the beginning of the biggest surprise in galactic history. The aliens were about to learn that threatening Earth was the biggest mistake they had ever made. The battle started at 4 a.m, Earth time. War Master Zeftok gave the order, and thousands of alien ships began shooting at once. Huge energy beams cut through space toward Earth's defenses. But something strange happened. The beams hit nothing but empty space. Admiral Morrison smiled as he watched from his command ship. Phase 1 complete, he said into his radio. All ships begin Phase 2. The human fleet had scattered like leaves in the wind. Instead of staying in one place like the aliens expected, every human ship had moved to a different hiding spot. Some hid behind asteroids. Others hid behind the moon. A few brave ones even hid behind Earth itself. War Master Zeftok stared at his screens. Where did they go? He demanded. His officers were just as confused. Their computers were made to fight enemies that followed rules. But the humans had just broken every rule of space warfare. Sir, said one of his captains, our sensors show human ships scattered all over the solar system. They are not in formation. Zeftok was angry. Find them and destroy them. How hard can it be? That was when Captain Ben Harper struck first. His ugly mining ship came out from behind the moon with 200 other ships. They were moving fast and shooting everything they had. The alien ships were huge and powerful, but they were also slow to turn. Ben's ship was small and quick. It dodged between the alien ships like a motorcycle racing through a traffic jam. This is for threatening my home, Ben shouted as he fired his makeshift weapons. His Thunderbolt kinetic rounds hit an alien cruiser. The metal rods were moving so fast that they punched right through the alien armor. The ship began to spin out of control. Commander Sarah Johnson was leading her fighter squadron in the attack. Her tiny ships were like angry wasps diving at the huge alien vessels. The aliens tried to swat them with their big guns, but the fighters were too small and fast. Remember your training, Sarah called to her pilots. Hit their weak spots and get out fast. The alien ships had been designed to fight other big ships. Their weapons were too slow to hit the human fighters. It was like trying to kill flies with a baseball bat. But the real surprise came when engineer Tony Martinez activated his secret weapon. He had hacked into one of the alien communication relays during the preparation time. Now, Dr. Rachel Brown's cyber warfare team was using that access to attack the aliens' computers. Suddenly, alien ships started getting confused orders. Some were told to turn left, while others were told to turn right. Some ships thought they were supposed to retreat, while others thought they should attack. What is happening? War Master Zeftok screamed at his communication officers. Someone is jamming our signals. An officer replied. Our ships cannot receive proper orders. The perfect alien formation began to fall apart. Ships crashed into each other. Some alien captains stopped following orders and tried to think for themselves. But they had never been trained to do that. Captain Steve Wilson saw his chance. His heavy cruiser squadron had been waiting behind a large asteroid. Now they came, out shooting with everything they had. "All ships, target their command vessels," Steve ordered. The human heavy cruisers were smaller than the alien battleships, but they were faster and more flexible. They worked together like a pack of wolves attacking a herd of buffalo. While some ships attacked from the front, others attacked from the sides and back. Lieutenant Commander Pete Davis was flying his scout ship through the chaos. He was marking targets for the other human ships and watching for alien reinforcements. "Admiral Morrison," he called over the radio. "The aliens are trying to retreat to a safer distance." Admiral Morrison was ready for this. "Captain Wilson, block their escape routes. Do not let them regroup." Steve Wilson's cruisers moved to cut off the alien retreat. The aliens found themselves trapped between Earth and the human fleet. They could not run away, and they could not fight effectively because their communications were still being jammed. War Master Zeftok was losing control of his fleet. Half his ships were not responding to orders. The other half were being destroyed by human ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. "This is impossible," he said. "They are just primitives with simple weapons." But his second in command was looking at the battle reports. "Sir, we have lost over 400 ships. The humans have only lost 67. Zeftok could not believe it. His mighty fleet was being beaten by creatures he thought were barely more intelligent than animals. Captain Ryan Mitchell was having the time of his life. His converted cargo ship was not pretty, but it was working perfectly. He had just destroyed his third alien ship using nothing but kinetic rounds and clever flying. Tony was right, he said to himself. Sometimes simple weapons work better than fancy ones. Dr. Amy Rodriguez was watching the battle from Earth's command center. Her Thunderbolt weapons were working even better than she had hoped. The alien energy shields could stop laser beams, but they could not stop big chunks of metal moving at incredible speed. Colonel Matt Parker was coordinating the human attacks. He was like a conductor leading an orchestra, but instead of music, he was creating a symphony of destruction. "Group 3, hit their left flank," he ordered. "Group 7, prepare for a flanking attack. Group 12, keep jamming their communications." The beautiful thing about the human attack was that it had no pattern. The aliens' computers kept trying to predict what the humans would do next, but humans kept doing things that made no sense. Sergeant Major Kelly Brooks was commanding a group of converted transport ships. These ships were not built for fighting, but they were tough and could carry a lot of weapons. "Just because we are not real warships does not mean we cannot fight," she told her captains. "Show these aliens what humans can do." Her ships attacked an alien supply convoy. The alien escort ships were expecting to fight human warships, not converted cargo haulers. They were so confused that they barely fought back. As the battle continued, more human ships kept arriving. Every few minutes, another group of ships would jump out of hyperspace and join the fight. The aliens had thought they knew how many human ships there were, but they kept being wrong. Captain Derek Martinez arrived with a squadron of ships he had captured from pirates years ago. These ships were old and battered, but they still had guns. "Sorry we are late," he called over the radio. "We had to stop and pick up some friends." Dr. Helen Carter brought her medical ships into the battle. They were not there to fight, but to rescue human pilots whose ships had been damaged. Every human life was precious, and no one would be left behind. By the end of the first day, the impossible had happened. The mighty Kethver fleet was retreating. They had lost hundreds of ships and thousands of crew members. The humans had lost ships too, but far fewer. War Master Zeftok was no longer confident. His perfect fleet was in ruins. His advanced technology had been beaten by primitive weapons and crazy tactics. "Send a message to the Dominion," he ordered. "Tell them we need reinforcements. Many reinforcements." But he had just made his second big mistake. The message would tell the humans exactly where the Kethver homeworlds were located. Admiral Morrison intercepted the alien message. He smiled as he read it. "Prepare the fleet for hyperspace jump," he ordered. "We are taking this war to them." The aliens had come to Earth expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had awakened something that would hunt them across the galaxy. The humans were no longer defending their home. Now they were going on the attack. The galaxy was about to learn that threatening Earth was the worst mistake anyone could make. Admiral Morrison did not waste any time. While the alien survivors were still running away from Earth, human ships were already jumping into hyperspace. The aliens had made a huge mistake by sending that message, asking for help. Now the humans knew exactly where to find them. Captain Greg Adams was chosen to lead the first attack on an alien world. His job was to hit the Kethver mining planet called Krolek 7. Greg had spent years flying cargo ships between different planets, so he knew how to move fast and hit hard. "Remember," Admiral Morrison told him over the radio, "we are not there to conquer. We are there to show them what happens when they threaten Earth." Greg's fleet was made up of converted industrial ships. They looked like a bunch of old garbage trucks flying through space, but they were perfect for the job. These ships were built to strip mine asteroids, and now they were going to strip mine an alien planet. The Kethver on Krolek 7 were not ready for what hit them. Their planet was supposed to be safe, far behind the battle lines. They had a small garrison of soldiers, but nothing that could fight a whole fleet. Greg's ships descended on the planet like hungry metal birds. They landed at the mining sites and began taking everything: rare metals, fuel, food, equipment. Everything that could be useful went into the human cargo holds. "This is amazing," said Captain Lisa Torres, one of Greg's pilots. "Their mining equipment is much better than ours. We should take it all." The alien garrison tried to fight back, but they were outnumbered 10 to 1. The human ships were not there to hurt the alien civilians, but they took everything the aliens needed to survive. When the humans left, the aliens were stranded on their own planet, with no way to call for help. Back at the Kethver capital, the news was causing panic. War Master Zeftok was trying to explain to his superiors how the humans had turned from victims into attackers so quickly. "They fight without honor," he said. "They attack civilians and steal supplies. They do not follow the rules of war." High Commander Velenith was not interested in excuses. She was a tall alien with silver skin and cold blue eyes. She had been fighting wars for 300 years. "The rules of war are written by the winners," she said. "If we are losing, then perhaps we need to change our strategy." But changing strategy was not easy for the Kethver. They had been winning wars the same way for 1,000 years. Their ships were stronger, their weapons were better, and their enemies always gave up quickly. But the humans were different. Dr. Helen Carter was working with a team of scientists to study captured alien technology. What she discovered was very important, but also very surprising. "Their ships are definitely more advanced than ours," she told Admiral Morrison. "But they are all exactly the same. Every ship of the same type has identical weapons, identical shields, and identical weaknesses." This was great news for Colonel Matt Parker. He was in charge of developing tactics to fight the aliens. If all alien ships of the same type were identical, then humans only needed to figure out how to beat one ship to beat them all. "It is like they built their fleet using a cookbook," Matt told his staff. "Every battleship is exactly like every other battleship. Once we know how to crack one, we can crack them all." The humans began developing specific attacks for each type of alien ship. Command ships had weak spots near their communication arrays. Heavy cruisers could be disabled by targeting their power cores. Fighter carriers could be confused by jamming their launch systems. Captain Ben Harper was leading an attack on an alien supply convoy when he tested one of these new tactics. The convoy had 3 battleships protecting it, and normally that would be impossible odds for Ben's small fleet. But Ben knew something the aliens did not. Dr. Carter had discovered that Kethver battleships had a blind spot directly above their main guns. Ben's ships attacked from that angle, and the huge alien guns could not turn far enough to shoot back. It worked. Ben called over the radio as the alien battleships exploded. They never saw us coming. Meanwhile, Commander Sarah Johnson was leading fighter attacks deep in alien space. Her pilots had learned to work together in ways that confused the alien computers. Sometimes they would split up and attack from different directions. Sometimes they would all attack the same target at once. The aliens never knew what to expect. The psychological effect on the Kethver was devastating. They had built their empire on fear and superior technology. But now they were afraid of humans, and their technology was not enough to win. Captain Derek Martinez was commanding a squadron of captured alien ships. This was particularly embarrassing for the Kethver. Not only were humans beating them, but humans were using Kethver ships to do it. "How does it feel to be shot by your own weapons?" Derek asked over the radio as he destroyed another alien patrol. The worst part for the aliens was that they could not predict where the humans would attack next. Human ships appeared everywhere at once. They hit mining colonies, supply depots, communication stations, and military outposts. Each attack was different, but they all had the same result. The aliens lost, and the humans took whatever they wanted. War Master Zeftok was becoming desperate. His fleets were being destroyed piece by piece. His supply lines were being cut. His soldiers were afraid to leave their bases. "We need to negotiate," he told High Commander Velanath. "The humans are not behaving rationally. They should have been satisfied with defending their homeworld." But Velanath was proud. She had never surrendered in her life, and she was not going to start now. "Send more ships. Send more weapons. We will crush these primitives with overwhelming force." This was exactly what Admiral Morrison was hoping she would do. Every ship the aliens sent to fight humans was a ship that could be captured or destroyed. The humans were not just winning battles. They were destroying the alien war machine, piece by piece. Captain Tony Martinez had become an expert at converting alien ships for human use. Every ship the humans captured became another weapon against the Kethver. "The beautiful thing about their technology," Tony explained, "is that it is so standardized. Once you learn how to operate one ship, you can operate any ship of the same type." The war was changing the humans too. People who had been farmers or shopkeepers 6 months ago were now commanding warships. Scientists were becoming tactical experts. Civilians were becoming soldiers. But the most important change was in how humans thought about themselves. Before the war, humans had seen themselves as a young species just beginning to explore the galaxy. Now they knew they were strong enough to fight anyone who threatened them. Commander Lisa Davis summed it up in her report to Earth Command. "We are not the same species that got that ultimatum 6 months ago. We have learned what we are capable of when we work together." The Kethver Dominion was beginning to understand this too. They had awakened something in humanity that they could not put back to sleep. The humans were no longer just defending themselves. They were hunting the Kethver across the galaxy. Every alien world lived in fear. Every alien ship looked over its shoulder. The predators had become the prey, and they did not know how to handle it. War-Master Zeftok received his final orders from High Commander. "Take everything we have left. Go to the Sol system and finish this once and for all." But as his fleet prepared for what might be the final battle, Zeftok wondered if it was already too late. The humans had shown they could beat superior technology with determination and creativity. What would happen when they brought their full strength to bear? He was about to find out. 6 months after the aliens first threatened Earth, War Master Zeftok was floating in an escape pod watching his flagship burn. Around him, the entire Kethver fleet was being destroyed by the humans they had once called primitives. The final battle was not happening at Earth. It was happening at Kethver Prime, the capital world of the alien empire. The humans had brought their entire fleet to the aliens' home, and they were not there to negotiate. Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of his new flagship. It was a captured Kethver dreadnought that had once been called Inevitable Victory. The humans had renamed it Human Defiance, and it was leading the largest fleet in human history. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," he said into his radio. "Today, we finish what they started. Today we show the galaxy that threatening Earth was the biggest mistake anyone could ever make." The human fleet was incredible to see. There were thousands of ships from every corner of human space. Military vessels flew alongside converted cargo ships. Captured alien vessels fought next to human-built fighters. It was chaos, but it was organized chaos. President Karen Williams had authorized Operation Retribution, and every human had answered the call. This was not just about defending Earth anymore. This was about making sure that no alien species would ever threaten humanity again. Captain Derek Martinez was now commanding an entire squadron of captured alien vessels. His ships looked like Kethver warships, but they flew like human raiders. The alien defenders kept getting confused about which ships were friends and which were enemies. "Surprise," Derek called over the radio as his fake alien ships opened fire on real alien ships. "Did you miss us?" The Kethver had prepared for this battle by gathering every ship they had left. Their plan was simple: use overwhelming numbers to crush the human fleet once and for all. But their plan had one big problem. They were still thinking like Kethver, and humans did not fight like Kethvar. High-Commander Valenoth watched from her command ship as the human fleet scattered in 1,000 different directions. She had expected a traditional battle with two fleets facing each other in neat lines. Instead, human ships were everywhere at once. "Where is their main force?" she demanded. Her officers were just as confused. "Commander, they do not seem to have a main force. Every ship is acting independently." This was exactly what Colonel Matt Parker had planned. Instead of one big battle, the humans were fighting 1,000 small battles all at the same time. The alien computers could not handle that much chaos. Captain Ben Harper was having the fight of his life. His mining ship was old and ugly, but it had survived dozens of battles. Now it was leading an attack on the alien planet's orbital defenses. "Come on, you beautiful old rust bucket," he said to his ship. "One more fight, and then we can go home." His Thunderbolt kinetic weapon smashed through the alien defense platforms like rocks through windows. The platforms had been built to stop energy weapons, not chunks of metal moving at incredible speed. "Commander." Sarah Johnson's fighter pilots were doing something that should have been impossible. They were attacking the alien capital ships directly. The huge Kethver battleships were trying to swat the tiny human fighters, but there were too many of them moving too fast. "Remember," Sarah called to her pilots, "we are not trying to destroy these ships. We are trying to capture them." The human strategy was brilliant. Instead of just winning the battle, they were stealing the alien fleet piece by piece. Every captured ship made the humans stronger and the aliens weaker. Dr. Rachel Brown's cyber warfare teams had completely taken over the alien communication networks. Alien ships were getting orders to surrender, retreat, or attack their own allies. The Kethver command structure was falling apart. "Their entire system depends on central control," Rachel explained to Admiral Morrison. "Once we broke that, they could not adapt." Captain Tony Martinez was busy converting captured alien ships as fast as possible. His teams had become experts at reprogramming alien computers and weapon systems. Within hours of being captured, alien ships were fighting for humanity. "The ironic thing," Tony said as he worked, "is that their technology is so advanced that it is easy to reprogram. Our old ships are actually harder to hack because they are simpler." War Master Zeftok had lost control of his fleet completely. Half his ships were not responding to orders. A quarter of them had been captured by humans. The rest were being destroyed by weapons that should not have been able to penetrate their armor. "How are they doing this?" he asked his remaining officers. "Our ships are better, our weapons are stronger." But one of his younger officers had figured it out. "Sir, they are not fighting like we fight. They are not trying to prove they are stronger. They are just trying to win." This was the difference that mattered. The Kethver fought to show their superiority. Humans fought to survive and protect their families. When survival was at stake, humans would do anything, use any weapon, try any tactic. Captain Greg Adams was leading the assault on the planet's surface. His converted mining ships were landing everywhere at once, taking control of spaceports, communication centers, and government buildings. The alien ground forces were brave, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. "Attention Kethver defenders," Greg announced over the planetary communication system. "We do not want to hurt your civilians. Surrender now, and no one else has to die." Many alien soldiers chose to surrender. They had heard what happened to soldiers who fought humans to the end. The humans were fair to prisoners, but they were ruthless to anyone who kept fighting. Sergeant Major Kelly Brooks was coordinating the occupation of the alien capital city. Her teams were securing important buildings and protecting alien civilians. The humans wanted to show that they were not conquerors, but they were also not going to be threatened again. "Remember," Kelly told her soldiers, "we are here to make a point, not to be cruel. Treat the civilians well, but make sure they understand why we are here." The final moment came when High Commander Velanoth realized that her fleet was completely destroyed. Her flagship was surrounded by human ships, and her escape pods were being targeted by human fighters. Admiral Morrison opened a communication channel to her ship. "High Commander Velanoth, this is Admiral Morrison of the human fleet. You have one chance to surrender." Velanoth was proud, but she was not stupid. Her empire was defeated, her fleet was destroyed, and her planet was occupied. Continuing to fight would only get more of her people killed. "I surrender," she said quietly. The terms of surrender were simple, but harsh. The Kethver Dominion had to withdraw from all systems within 50 light-years of human space. They had to pay for the cost of the war. Most importantly, they had to formally apologize for threatening Earth. The apology ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. High Commander Velanoth stood before the human fleet and spoke words that no Kethver had ever spoken before. "The Kethver Dominion formally apologizes to humanity for our unprovoked threat against Earth. We acknowledge that humans have the right to expand and explore as they choose. We promise never to threaten human worlds again." As the human fleet prepared to return to Earth, Admiral Morrison reflected on what had happened. The Kethver had threatened Earth because they thought humans were weak and chaotic. They were right about the chaos, but wrong about what that meant. "Chaos is not always a weakness," he told his officers. "Sometimes it is the greatest strength of all." Captain Derek Martinez, now commanding a small fleet of captured alien ships, summed up the lesson for everyone. "They thought they were stronger than us. They thought their technology made them superior, but they forgot something important. Being strong is not the same as being willing to fight." The humans had not been the strongest species in the galaxy when the war started, but they had been the most determined. They had been willing to risk everything to protect their home and their freedom. Now, as the human fleet returned to Earth in victory, every species in the galaxy understood a new truth. Humans might be young, they might be chaotic, they might use simple weapons and crazy tactics, but they were also the most dangerous species anyone had ever encountered. The Kethver had made the mistake of threatening Earth. They had expected submission and found war instead. They had expected easy victory and found total defeat instead. As Admiral Morrison's ship entered Earth's solar system, he saw something beautiful. Thousands of human ships from across the galaxy were coming home. They had left as merchants, miners, scientists, and explorers. They were returning as the defenders of humanity. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Threatening Earth was not just dangerous, it was the biggest mistake anyone could make. Humanity had shown that they would fight anyone, anywhere, to protect their home and their freedom. The war was over, but its message would last forever. Humans were no longer just another young species exploring the galaxy. They were the species that had turned a threat into a war declaration and won, and they would never allow themselves to be threatened again.